Bujo in the get it done style, and as he adds more stuff and tells us how to do more stuff, I will add those pieces into the bullet journal. So basically it's a working out of the David Allen get it done system for projects. Okay, so first thing about projects is that if I take a project, this is my novel writing for which I've already signed and sent off the contract. So it's basically editing, writing and doing the novel. So what I've done is I've created boxes which are outcomes. These are large scale outcomes. They are like the novel needs to be edited. It needs to be sent to the, it needs to be retyped into the computer into a format, maybe change the font and everything. Then it needs to be, I need to contact the publisher and work out the cover, the cost, the pages. And there'll be a lot of contacts between me and the publisher when the novel is being done. So that is a whole set. So it's like a categories of kinds of jobs that I have to do. I have to do some editing jobs, I have to do some retyping jobs or recomposing jobs. Then I have to do some contacts with the publisher, and then I have to work on the cover art of the book, which is a very important thing for me. Cover art, title, publishing rights, blurb, dedication, all that extra stuff that goes into a novel which is being published. So these are the 4 outcomes. There may be other big ones. There is space here. If I have more outcomes, I'll do that. And out here is the breakdown of the task. I've just written up to 10 chapters here. Then more chapters later I will write it in the next page. So I've just written chapters here and left it because it'll take some time to do these chapters. So I think there'll be about 10 to 20 chapters in the book. What I did is all the chapters I just removed the titles, and so that I can re-chapterize them so that they make more sense to the publisher. So that, but right now I've started editing. So so now that I've written chapter 1, I will write this chapter 1 in my daily pages. Every day I'm editing for 10 minutes. So it's become a daily routine. So 10 minutes I sit down during some part of the day when I'm free. It's there in my daily tasks. So I just edit the chapter. So it's going to go on, and whenever it finishes. Then what I'm also doing, so this is the way I plan a project. The large chunks and categories of work I have to do, and then the minute tasks that maybe I have to be done. What I did is, because this task is basically also communicating with the publisher, I've created a separate column. Most of the work in these 2 chunks, the chunk of the cover and the chunk of the publisher contact, would be about mails and exchange of mails. So what I've done is I've created a date, the mail that has come, and the action I have to take about it, and any notes that I have to note down. So I've created a separate column for dealing with communication. Basically this will go on to the next page. Right now, for example, the contract was sent to me. I had to sign it and send it back. So that was one event, one whole task. So the mail and what they told me to send and how they told me to send, that would have been the notes here. Then here I have created an empty page, which is ideas, reference, capture. So suddenly if I am writing chapter 1 and I realize something is missing and I need to compose or make little spider diagrams or mind maps or something, I have left some space for just general notes here. So so the same kind of thing can be adapted for, let us say, projects that you want to take on. Supposing you want to take on cleaning the kitchen, right? So if that is a project, then the outcomes would be, these major chunks for cleaning the kitchen would be, the gas area. It could be zones. The pantry is a huge area. Then the gas is a whole zone in the kitchen, like the gas and all that. Then there can be like storage area, which is like vessels and plastics and those kind of areas. Then there can also be the sink and other, below the sink or the floor and other places. So you can actually split up your cleaning outcomes into zones, and in each zone you can write as clean the sink, vacuum the bottom of the cupboard, or wipe down the door of the fridge with a wet cloth. So those would be like actionable items. So David Allen says, don't write down clean fridge. Break it up into micro tasks. Like cleaning fridge will require you to find the rag, wet it, and then wipe it. So as micro as possible, if you're able to break down a task, it makes more sense. Let me just show you the next thing which breaks down the task a little more. I'll show you how I have broken down. The next is a trip that I'm planning to Germany. Nothing else is planned in that. So I'm going to create a page, in fact, in the next, in this weekend on this, because I need to talk to my friend. So the first task is talking to my friend before I plan the trip to Germany, and also communicating with the university that's inviting me there. So the next thing is a couple of my planner friends are in Germany. A couple of my friends, older friends, are also in Germany. So I look forward to seeing them. There are people in Innsbruck, and I'm sure my planner friend, planner and Journal Your Heart friend Mona is also in Germany. So I'm hoping that sometime I can meet her, because I think I'm going to spend about 20 to 30 days in Germany. So that's about the trip. Let's come back to the bullet journal. So basically, this is a paper that I'm writing. Again, the paper requires me to send the paper to the journal. It requires me to read the reviews that come. Then it requires me to rewrite the paper and reread the paper, resend the paper again. And then final outcome is publish. And once it gets published, I have to actually write it down in my journal, in my work report, and also put it online. All that work is about publish. Now, the first task of this is actually find a journal to publish it. So it's like, if it is call Mary, find Mary's phone number, right? So it's like, first job is always to find the things, find the resources for starting the job. So that's the thing. Fix, and then it's like the next job is to fix the citation and the paper in the style of the journal. So that's the next job. It's basically writing job. Then the next thing is the submission job, which can be online. In this case, if I find the journal, I've already found the journal, so it's going to be submission is going to be online. And then I'll write date sent, review received, and date of submission. And then I will add calls, mails, schedules, and any more tasks on this side. So I'm leaving a couple of pages, because these are the thing about projects is they are not dailies or weeklies. You have to review them again and again. So it's a large one tool that captures all the events of the projects together. So even if it takes a year, I'm sure all my yearly events will be entered here. So that is why after every page I'm leaving a couple of pages. The journal will not take a lot of time, but I'm sure the novel will take a little more. More outcomes may be there. Something may be there that I need to do. Maybe, I don't know, different kinds of outcomes may be there in the novel, which I'm not aware of, because it's my first novel. So I've left a couple of pages before the next project begins. And once the project is ready, I'm writing it down in the, if I leave a couple of pages, I'm leaving a couple of lines in the index, because as you can see, I have actually, let me just open it up. Yeah, as you can see, I have actually done 4 and 5, and I know between 5 and 12 there are a lot of pages left. They may be used for the same novel, in which case I'll write the last number here, and then if there's one, let's say page number 11 is left over, I will use that for something else, some other project. So I have left a little from 15 to 19. I have left some empty space here. Again, I may use one page per line to do something, or I may continue with this. So there are 3 index pages in this Leuchtturm. So I'm not going to spend time trying to figure out whether I can squeeze in more letters or not. And so the main thing is that I know what is on which page. So it's a reference system, and not like I don't want the book to pressurize me in any way. It is my tool. I am not its tool. So that is important to remember in planning, that the book is your servant. It's basically going to be used by you. You should not let the book use you, because if you let the planner use you, you're under constant stress. It will be, the planner itself will become one of those projects that's occupying a lot of your mind. Whereas a planner is supposed to help take things off your mind so you can focus on the present. Whereas if you make the planner central in your life in such a way that it starts to call your attention all the time like a cranky baby, then you are going to be like at its mercy, and therefore you will not enjoy the process of planning. Then the next thing is about the new house that I'm building and how I'm going to build the house. And there will be plans. I right now don't have anything, because I have a separate notebook for the house construction. But this is basically going to be my decoration and what I want to put in there, the kinds of furniture I want, the kind of decor I have to do, maybe carpenter's number, and I don't know, anything to do with the decor of the interior decoration of the new house. That is what I'm going to put here. Then I've started the Goodreads challenge, which is a year-long challenge. I'm going to read 50 books, 50 novels this year. So I already purchased quite a few books. So I just wrote down the list of all the books that are there with me in Manipal here. About 17 books that I already have in a row. I'm sure there are about another 10-20 books at Bangalore. So I more or less have about 30 books ready. Another 20 over the month. I have 2 or 3 book subscription boxes, and we have a very active book club that I'm going to pick up. Again, I used the Reset Curls stickers with little specs, which sort of read, which reminds me of reading. They're very cute, and so I'm not using stickers the way I use in a planner, but I do like that little color because I basically cannot do sketches and drawing, and it takes a long time, so I just did that. And then there is so this is the horizon list. This is the horizon list where I kind of write down like this is my Bangalore house, what I'm going to do, shifting Bangalore house, which furniture I'm going to sell, which furniture I'm going to keep, and what will I do with the car, and where's the car park, and all the other kinds of things that are related to a house shifting, because we are shifting house from a rented house to our own house in Bangalore. So that has got this horizon list. It's not happening right now. It will happen sometime during the year. I don't know when. But I have made already a list of things that I have to think about. I'll keep adding to this. There is a lot of space here, and I'll add to this. And then book ideas, other books that I'm going to be writing next, and then translations that I'm doing. So these are all right now, because 3 of the papers and everything till March, I have got my hands full and I cannot attend to these. But they will, as and how I come close to March, these books or these projects will go into the project list where they are actionable items. Right now, this is just a capture tool. This is for reference. This is like all in my eye, but they are not in the back burner, but they are not become invisible because they are not in my head. If they're in my head, I'll forget about them. So I have put them here. I call it my horizon list, or you can also call it the overview list or the review list. Then I'm also going to think about what crafting I'm going to do, and maybe I'll write down some overall goals, some list of happy mails that are due to be sent. So if I just keep this, I will open when I'm planning. I'll think of any of these tasks that I have to do. So this is so far this is what I have created in the bullet journal. There's quite a bit of paper left over, so there will be, I'm hoping that as the year proceeds, I will get these wonderful projects and I will take it on. The keeping the house and the personal career projects separate from the office, overall projects of office, of teaching and learning and doing is very different, because the office bullet journal is very task oriented, and after a couple of months in every semester I can actually throw away the old one and keep only the new one, because in office there is a system where after a project is done, let us say I'm preparing a document, the timetable, once it is done, I don't need the process which was used to prepare the timetable, but I can throw it away. But here, if I've used something for, let us say, writing a paper or something like that, writing a novel or something, I am likely to go back to this and refer and see, or look at myself and see how can I improve this, or what more can I do in such a way that I have more time to write more books and stuff like that. So these are all important things, and so I want to preserve them in the Leuchtturm. So I hope you enjoyed this slightly long video, and I'll come back to you later with my new cash envelope system, and you can actually see the video, and I'll share all my tips with you as good as possible. Hope you found this useful. A big shout out to my journaling friends, and I'm very inspired.